And for chicken parm, one of the secrets is in the sauce, and we are gonna make a really nice, simple marinara. And if you are clever like me, then you make a shit ton of it because it freezes well, and then you always have extra marinara. So, and I recommend to use either saucepan or a shallow rondo pot like this because it makes it easier and faster for the marinara to cook. Medium low, and a fair amount of olive oil. A good long squeezer here. I don't know exactly how much that is. That much. And then we're going in with 3 minced cloves of garlic. And that's the reason we want to cook this on low. We want this to slowly start infusing the oil with garlic flavor. We don't want to burn it, so take it easy and just let it cook away a little bit here for a minute or two. I mean, if you throw it in a warm pan, 20-30 seconds, then you have to move on. But when you do it like this in a cold pan, then it slowly comes up to a simmer and you really infuse the oil with the garlic. And when it's nice and sizzling like this, but your garlic is not turning brown or yellow, and it smells absolutely divine actually, garlic.
That it does.
Then we're gonna throw in some chili flakes. It's optional, but you want a little bit of, in my opinion, a little bit of heat, not a lot, don't overdo it, I mean half a teaspoon, and we're doing like 3.5 kilos of this, so...
Yeah, you and chili is the love relationship.
I was just in China and I ate Hunan style and it was super spicy, so...
Oh my gosh.
Fantastic. And then when it starts biting your nostrils from the chili, then we're going in with a big dollop of tomato paste. This is like 120 grams, maybe even 150. But
yeah, that's really big.
Just a big one.
Ooh.
And that you want to fry until it turns, the color changes, get a more rusty color, deeper red. That gives a lot of deep tomato flavor to your marinara. So don't skip on this. This is a very important step in getting it really good. And you see the colors here with the oil, it's fantastic. This is going to be very, very good and very flavorful and very simple. And now you see the color
is amazing.
It does. Chili, garlic, and that's all. That's all you need. That's all you need for making good flavors. Nice and fried. Then I'm going to go in with, how much was this now? It was 2.5 kilo of chopped tomato.
Yes.
You can use crushed tomatoes, you can use passata, you can take your crushed tomatoes and blend them, but I like to use crushed tomatoes because it leaves a little bit of texture in the sauce, not to be completely ketchup style. So, in with that. Optional, I had half a liter of passata just to bind things a little bit together, but this is the condensed passata, so it gives, again, a deeper flavor to this. As this comes up to a simmer, we are going to add a little bit of seasoning, and it's very simple. Salt for tomato, we have about 3 kilos. 1 teaspoon of salt per kilo of tomato, then you have a perfectly balanced saltiness, and it's not too much.
So 3 teaspoons?
3 teaspoons, yeah. Basically that.
That's enough.
Yep, yeah. That's exactly enough. And then a couple of rounds of black pepper. Don't overdo it, but 3 kilos is a lot, so you want some pepper. And now we're going to let this simmer in a marinara. You want basil, and you want a lot of basil, but you do not want to add your fresh basil from the beginning because then you cook it out, and that is not nice.
And kill all the aroma, right?
Exactly. Yeah. But what we want to do now, you see the consistency here. We want to let this simmer for probably an hour and a half on very low. When it starts bubbling, turn it down to the minimum setting with a lid and just let it bubble away and reduce. That's why it's good to have a shallow, wide diameter pot because then it reduces faster. I will move this to the other stove and then we continue with the chicken. And for our chicken, we have 2 nice chicken breasts, local, from one of the farms around here, tenders removed. There will be another episode where we do good stuff with the chicken tenders. Always save them for something else. So, What we want here, we don't want it to be this thick because that's not good for chicken parm. You could pound it out like an idiot, but I have done that in a previous episode and I'm not a big fan. So what we're gonna do is, you take your chef's knife, put your hand on top, and then we're gonna slice it down the middle. Make sure you have a good sharp knife for this. And then we are making them like this. Beautiful
nice.
chicken cutlets. The perfect thickness there. It's about 1/4 inch, something like that. And that's just what you want. So let me do the other one, and then we'll build the breading station, and we're gonna talk a little bit about that. So for our breading station, it's pretty standard, but I wanted to walk you through it anyway, because for this application, we are going with a mixture of flour and cornstarch, 50-50, not just plain all-purpose.
What for?
It sticks better to the surface, and when you're making chicken parm, you want the crust to stick to the meat and not release from the meat, so you get that. You want to have a firm bite when you are done with this, so put in a little bit of this. You could add a little bit of baking soda also if you were so inclined. 2 beaten eggs, simple as that, on a flat plate. It's easier with flat plates. But for the seasoning, we are going with panko breadcrumbs. These are fine. You could use coarse if you so want to. Here we're going to season a little bit with pepper. And a pinch of salt, but don't overdo it because we're going to put in Parmesan cheese, and that is salty on its own. So a little bit of salt. And then we're going to give it, let's say, an equal amount by volume of Parmesan cheese.
Yeah.
So we mix that nicely here. But you want some Parmesan here in the crust because that's where the flavor is. You know, marinara, Parmesan crust, cheese on top. It's going to be good.
What can go wrong with
No,
it?
exactly. It's like nothing can go wrong. It's
Okay.
but that's also why chicken parm is such a beloved recipe. I mean, everybody loves chicken parm. So we take our nice cutlets here and we give them a nice coating of flour. Press it down a little bit, make sure it's nice. But the flour makes actually the chicken a little bit hydrophobic. So as you see, it doesn't
So it
stick properly.
remains-
So you have to be, you have to be a little bit insisting on this because you want full coverage of egg, which we have now. And then it's panko. And now comes, again, press it down and we flip it over. And then we take some of this and put it on top and press it down. We want really good coverage, and we want it to adhere nicely to the chicken. You want a good crust, otherwise it's not a good chicken parm.
Yeah, that's where the flavor lies.
Exactly. So all of that is very nice. And then we lie it down here on a rag. I'll finish the 3 others, and then I'll explain to you why we're using the rag. There we have, last one. They're all done. We put them on a rack now, and then we're going to leave them in the fridge for half an hour until our marinara is finished. And that will allow the crust to set on the chicken so we get a really good coverage in it. So I'm putting this in the fridge, 7.5. Our sauce has been simmering for more than an hour, and I switched it off like 5 minutes ago, something like that. So it's not boiling anymore or simmering. And just the tomato flavor here or the aroma in the air is fantastic. But now we want to finish it off, and that was what I said before. Fresh basil, coarsely chopped, a lot of it. This is like, 3 packages from the supermarket, something like that, yeah. So in with that, and get that in so that can start aromatizing our tomato sauce. And this is where marinara gets really good. You can basically not put too much basil. And now we are basically ready to fry the chicken and build our beautiful chicken parm. We are going to do this today in our deep fat fryer. Of course, you can do this in a pan, shallow fry it, half an inch of oil and do it there. But this is easier since we have it. So here they are, out of the fridge, nice and cold. And now we're going to carefully lower the first one down. Let it fry a little bit before you let it go, because otherwise it sticks to the basket and away from you. And now we let it go till it pops to the surface, nice and golden brown. Let's see how we are doing here. It definitely looks pretty, but let's get a temp reading on this. 63, 64, 65. That's perfect because the carryover temperature will take it up. You don't want to cook this to 75. I'm just saying it will be dry. This is perfectly juicy. Carefully taking it out so we don't destroy this beautiful crust we have built. And we leave it here while we make one more. Now it's build time. We have our beautiful marinara. We're going to take a nice spoonful of that on top of each of our beautiful, beautiful chicken fillets. And you want to have your marinara a little bit on the thick side here. You don't want it, I mean, when you freeze it and you use it for pasta, you can always add a little bit extra tomato if it's too thick for your taste. But for this, you want it to look exactly like that. Beautiful it is. So, cheese. You could use provolone. You could use whatever you want, but I'm using a Greek Gruyère, 2 slices on each. It has to be cheesy.
Isn't that a lot?
Oh, no. That's the whole thing about chicken parm. It has to be good. And then fresh mozzarella, couple of slices.
That is cheesy.
Well, that's the whole point.
Okay.
And then last but not least, a little bit more Parmesan over top here to give that nice brown crust when we put it in the oven. So here you go. That's going to be so beautiful when that comes out. Now it goes under the broiler, top third of the oven, like this. And we're going to let that brown up nicely, probably give it 5 minutes or so. And then we are ready to serve. 5 minutes, and it's looking good. However, I have seen many recipes with this. They always grill it on a rack. I wouldn't do that. Next time I would do it without the rack because I want it in the cheese. Next time I'm gonna bake it in the tray, not on the rack, so we have the chicken in the cheese. And that is a plate of goodness. A little bit of thumbnail work here, but on a bed of the sauce, it just looks perfect. And it smells divine with the basil. I mean, it's fantastic. But let's see how we did on the chicken. It's definitely cheesy, although we lost some cheese in the pan there. But let's give it a try, and still steaming.
Oh my. How is it?
That is so perfectly well balanced. Put a shit ton of basil in your marinara. It's fantastic, you know. Tomato forward with a lot of basil. It's a super sauce. The chicken is so damn juicy. Remember, pull it 65 to 68 degrees. Don't let it go to 75. This here is just an amazing comfort food. Serve it over penne, serve it with rice, serve it over linguine, do whatever you want, or just eat it as is with a salad on the side. Try this.